with Kyle Evans. Grow with Kyle Evans.
Boom. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday to you out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Kyle Evans coming to you on the ones and twos. It's the G.R.O.W Show, your daily checkup from the neck up. And boy, do we've got some things to talk about this week. It's things we've mentioned before. It's stuff we've talked about, but I've seen this thing keep coming up in conversations I'm having with top agents around the country. I'm seeing this all the way from the brand new agent to the mega agent. I'm seeing this pop up over and over and over again. And since it's January, or I guess February now, since it's still the beginning of the year, it's important that we correct this now so we're not struggling with this all year long. This is a simple system that you can utilize not just this year, but every year, guys. What I'm talking about is your pipeline. Your pipeline is a truth-telling system. So for the next couple episodes, we're going to be diving into pipeline practices that can serve you well. Because here's the truth that a lot of us don't want to admit is we can either lie to ourselves and others, or we can classify. We can lie to ourselves and others, or we can classify. Classification falls with the pipeline. Let me start here. I don't think most agents have a motivation problem. I mean, some do. Don't get it twisted. But like, it's not a market problem. It's not this motivation problem. A lot of times clarity is power. We just have a follow-up problem because we have a truth problem. When you don't tell the truth about where you are, where your clients are, where your potential clients are, your behavior starts drifting. Come on, somebody. Your confidence starts leaking. Your pipeline starts lying to you. If you've ever seen Elf with Will Ferrell, he goes, "You sit on a throne of lies." Guys, you're out there sitting on a throne of lies about your pipeline. Your pipeline will start lying to you if you don't force honesty upon it and upon yourself. Not maliciously, but quietly. It'll start drifting. Guys, if any of these feel familiar, I want you to pay attention. You open your CRM, right? You see dozens, hundreds, some of you out there, thousands of names. And instead of clarity, you feel weight. You feel ambiguity. You feel confusion. You don't know who to call first. You don't know who deserves intensity. You don't know who you're allowed to let go of for the day. So you default to the safe stuff. Emails, Canva, notes, busy work. Hey, just checking in messages. I'm not talking at you this morning. I'm talking with you. My hand's in the cookie jar too. I'm with you. We check into activity without direction. That's not laziness. That's your brain protecting itself from confusion. The human brain is always asking one question: what deserves my attention right now? Because we're wired for safety. We're also wired to not burn extra calories we don't need to. Your brain burns so many calories, so it looks for simple solutions. What deserves my attention right now? What will I not waste energy on? What will I not waste focus on? If everything looks equal, nothing moves. We sit in analysis paralysis. Let's talk about why hope feels good and why it also costs us. In my experience, in my experience, humble experience, I don't think that agents necessarily outright lie. I think we inflate. We take someone who's simply curious and we promote them in our minds, in our business, in our pipeline to say that they're serious. Curious does not equal serious. We take someone who said, hey, maybe this year we'll do something, and we treat them like they're about to transact around the corner. Why? Because hope feels productive. Hope lets you believe that your pipeline is healthy without doing the uncomfortable work of creating new opportunity. Hope delays rejection. Hope delays lead generation. Hope delays hard conversations. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the same thing that my coaches have always told me, I tell you now, hope is not a strategy. And when hope becomes the organizing principle of your pipeline, your follow-up becomes emotional instead of intentional. Happy Monday to you. We're coming in guns blazing. Your pipeline tells the truth. The problem is most agents build pipelines that reward fantasy instead of reality, that reward hope, that reward hype instead of what's actually happening. So today we're going to clean that up. No fancy tools, no colors unless you want to. No automations, just simple structure, just simple language, just simple truth. I'm going to give you my ABCD pipeline framework. It's that simple. These are states that people are in, not necessarily labels. People move, markets move, motivation changes. That's why they're states, but without structure, agents drift. So we're going to use timelines as guidelines, not prisons. We need to have rails. We need to have discipline before we earn freedom. So let's start for ABCD. Let's start with A's. Very simple, very straightforward. A equals active. A equals active. A equals active. Your timeline guideline here is roughly 0 to 30 days. 0 to 30 days. 0 to 30 days from now, they're going to list. They're going to put a sign in the yard. They're going to get ready to go on the market, or they're going to buy something. They're going to actually put in a contract. Not let's go look at homes. Not we're thinking about doing this. We are going to sign a purchase agreement in 30 days or less. Now, some of you may have slower markets or luxury markets where time takes a little longer. For you, instead of 0 to 30, be thinking 30 to 45-ish days, right? So 0 to 45 days. Again, these are guidelines. They're not prisons. A equals active, 0 to 30 days. Active means that they are emotionally engaged. The motivation, the actual motivation is very high. They are time bound. Decisions are forming and happening now. They're not thinking. They're not watching the market. It's right now. I'm going to give you some language that you may hear and pick up on. You'll hear things like, we need to. Hey, what do you recommend? What's the next step? Can you walk us through this right now? There is emotional weight. There's emotional substance. There's motivation behind their words. If they are here, your follow-up cadence is daily, up to maybe twice a week. Daily to twice a week, you're going to be engaging and talking with this person. The reason that there's a scale there is, again, this is guidelines, not prisons that you have to be stuck inside of. The root word of customer is custom. We are going to treat and communicate with our people in a custom manner that fits them. So your follow-up cadence, if they are an A, if they are active, is daily to twice a week. This is not harassment. This is leadership. And I got a truth bomb for you. If someone is truly active, clarity feels like relief, not sales pressure. Everybody wants to be led, especially in times where they need to take action and they need direction. If you're afraid to call them because you don't want to bother them, they're probably not active. They're probably not an A. You know why? Because urgency welcomes direction. Write that down, tattoo it on your heart and your spirit so you don't forget. Urgency welcomes direction. When the needs are high, when the timeline is short, direction is a cool breeze on a hot summer day. Active people pull information from you. They don't have to be chased. If you're doing all the chasing, you're probably misclassifying them. You're probably misclassifying them. A equals active, B equals brewing. Brewing. This is someone, your timeline guidelines, roughly 30 to 90 days, right? They're going to do something this quarter in 90 days, roughly a quarter out. These people have direction. They know where they're going. They know a bit about what they're looking to do. They've got the ball field in front of them. Right now, what they're doing, though, is they're sorting through logistics. They're working through some certainty. They're not quite emotional yet, but that momentum is building. You'll hear some things like this, and I'm in this situation now personally, so I know that this language is true. Hey, after this quarter, hey, once we get through XYZ, hey, we're planning to. That's some trigger language. That's when you know that they're a B, they're brewing, they're a quarter out or so. Your follow-up cadence here is weekly touch all the way to bi-weekly. Again, guideline, not a prison. We want to meet them where they're at. We want to talk to them in a frequency and a pattern that they are okay with. Weekly to bi-weekly if they're a B, if they're brewing. This is probably the most nuanced classification because this is where professionalism matters. Too aggressive and you're going to create sales resistance. Too distant, though, and you're going to disappear. Your job here is simply steady presence. Steady presence. Now, when they move from B to A, when they move from brewing to active, obviously the frequency, the intensity, the direction will pick up. B is the most nuanced classification. The next one is C. A, B, C. C stands for considering. They're considering. This is probably the most important category in the entire system because it's your big field, it's your big farm, it's your orchard. The timeline for C's, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, is 90 days to 9 months. 90 to 9. 90 days to 9 months. Now, in some markets, again, if they're slower, it could be up to a year's time. 90 days to 9 months. C's don't get the attention that they deserve. Considering is not bad. It's only bad if you're pretending that your C's are actually A's. It's only bad if you're pretending that someone who's considering is active. Considering means that they're curious, that they're observing, that they're maybe educating themselves. They're versing themselves on what's to come. There's no urgency yet. They're not stalled. They're not wasting your time. They're just not ready yet. Your follow-up cadence for a C is very simple. Once a month. Once a month. Considering doesn't need pressure. If they are a C, they don't need pressure. They need patience and perspective. Not pressure, patience and perspective. Your job here is more educational, not conversion. If you try to force urgency where none exists, you burn trust and exhaust yourself. This is where you show up as salesy. You don't need to sell water to someone in the ocean. Why? Because they don't need it. They don't need it. Most agents will take their C's and tell themselves or put on their pipelines that they're A's or B's. Why? because downgrading forces honesty. If they admit someone is only considering, they have to admit something else, and they don't want to admit this line: I need more conversations. They don't want to admit that. So we tell ourselves that C's or A's. We tell ourselves that we have more active clients than we actually do, because if not, we have to face the truth, and there's more work to do. So instead of simply doing the work, we promote a fallacy of our pipeline, and hope becomes a false sense of protection. And the pipeline, instead of becoming fact, instead of becoming a tool, becomes fiction. Coming in hot today. We got these things to talk about. The last one in your ABCDs is database. D equals database. A active, B brewing, C considering, D equals database. There's no defined transaction timeline here. Your database is your past clients, your sphere, people who know, like, and trust you. They don't need urgency. They don't need conversion. They just need consistency. This is going to be your normal 36 touch system. Your newsletters, your event invitations, your neighborhood nurtures or home price updates, just simple presence. This is just simple presence. This is just being in emotional proximity of people, being in contribution, being around them to serve them when needed. This is where future A's come from. Quietly. Guys, this is so simple and so powerful, and that's why it works. I want you to understand again that these timelines are guideposts. They're guidelines. They're not prisons. I don't want you to have to overthink this. If someone's 62 days out instead of 60, they don't need to be misclassified. If you ignore timelines completely, you're going to drift. If you treat them as this unbreakable, strict law, you're going to misclassify. Maturity is the nuance of holding both. I trust that this is helpful for you. I trust that you're paying attention today. One of the reasons we don't do this is because we think that follow-up feels hard. It's not hard because we lack discipline, because we're not David Goggins out there doing the things. It's hard because you don't know who deserves intensity. Analysis paralysis sets in. It's hard because you don't have a clear picture of who can wait and who can't wait. You don't know what matters today. When everything feels important, nothing moves. This is why agents are busy but not productive. This is why you hear lines, maybe you've said this to yourself or others: I'm touching people, I'm having conversations, but nothing's closing. It's not because your system is broken, it's because your classifications are. If this is resonating with you, if you're like, Kyle, I'm ready to get off the real estate roller coaster and have a business that I can forecast, that I can project, that I can have a sense of security and stability with. Your job, your mission is to pull every name you believe is in your pipeline. And I want you to assign them to A, B, C, or D. If they're D, they don't need a label or anything. They should just be in your database on appropriate drips. A, B, C, active, brewing, considering. No maybes, no emotional padding to make ourselves feel good or feel safe or give hope, just simple truth. If someone moves down in this audit from an A to a C, that's not a failure. It's just clarity. It's just clarity. Clarity always comes before true momentum. Do this. Don't ignore it. The next couple days, we're going to be diving into some of these pipeline strategies, into this foundation. Next, or tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys some conversion percentages and some numbers to think about so you can actually forecast your business. So we can go from a mom and pop shop to a CEO or a SheEO if you're out there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for spending your Monday morning with me. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow.
Grow with Kyle Evans.